Go.
All right. So, hello. Who are you?
Do you know who I am?
I know who you are. This is Zoe. That was Zellie. I'm Holly. We are super much enjoying the gorgeous November weather right now.
It's cold.
It's cold, yes.
It's very cold.
It's sweater weather.
Yeah.
Sweater weather for sure. Got the sweater up here too. Yes. Okay, so I just wanted to make a video, and forgive me, I am just gonna get a kick back and talk it out a little bit. There
Was a missing child.
There was a missing child yesterday, and
Not hers.
Not mine, right? I didn't lose any of my kids. Thank you. I don't wish that upon anybody. You know, I'm a mom of 6. I get it. It's not fun. So I'll give a little bit of history first, so that anybody who is watching this video later, if you don't know me or you don't know my story, a little back history on myself. So my name is Holly. I just turned 40 a few days ago. Hang on just a few moments, please. Thank you.
Like a month ago.
Yeah, no, not like a month ago. Like a couple of days ago.
It's the 15th. Her birthday was on the 9th. Oh.
Okay. Anywho, so I worked in education for, I think, 7 years or so. I did.
I have no idea.
This is Stella, guys. Hi, Stella.
Hi.
All right. I'm making a video. Have a seat for just a few moments. So I worked in education before I had my babies, before I had all of my babies. I had Josh, and I worked in education then, because when you are a single mom, which I was back then, it made sense to work in education so that I could be off and take care of my kid when he was out of school, right? Now, as our life progressed, we opted to homeschool once Josh got into about 4th grade. And no.
So he went to a middle school and then he got out.
Well, he went to middle school for a little bit. You're not wrong there.
I remember.
So she remembers correctly. You know, Joshua went to elementary school. I love you. Please sit down. Thank you. Joshua went to elementary school and went to kindergarten, went to pre-K for, I think, 2 years, actually.
3.
3? I don't think so. I think it was just 2. 2. Promise it was 2. I know that. Went on to kindergarten, and then actually it was through his kindergarten year, towards the end of his kindergarten year, that we actually moved. We actually bought our house, and so we switched schools. And at the time, I was working for the school system, like I said, and so I ended up bringing him over to a school that was closer to where I worked, and it was closer to where our new home was.
At that time, you were together with Dad?
Nope.
Because you moved into the house that I got in?
Mm-hmm. We would move into the house that you would come home to.
And then you found Dad, and then you went.
No.
Dad bought the house?
Girl, let me tell my story, okay? She's trying to derail everything here. Hold on.
No, I'm thinking.
You think, and I'll draw you a timeline later, okay?
Okay.
Okay. But for this purpose, Josh was in school up until about 4th grade. 4th grade came. He was in for a couple of weeks. I pulled him out. At that point in our lives, Chris was working as a firefighter, paramedic, and think just as a firefighter. He hadn't gotten his paramedic license at that point.
He was working for them.
And I was working in the salon, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit of salon life, a little bit of I was overlapped there. Okay. So.
Moved to Real Tang.
No, shush. Girl, she's killing me right now. I'm trying to give back history. You're going way far ahead. I'm giving a little bit of back history here. So, this is an awful long story because I just really want to tell you about yesterday, but I can't tell you about yesterday effectively. And I can't tell them about yesterday effectively without giving the back history and my experience with education, with kids, etc., 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 and homeschooling. Okay, so let me try to speed this up. If you catch your bubble. Okay, my teacher friends know that one. Yes, I love you. So anyway, so I spent a couple of years in education. I pulled out of education when I started having these guys, my girls, right? Josh was in education with me for a little bit, but when you get to having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids like I do, daycare is expensive, right? It's not my jam. That's a whole nother story, right? I can go and I can do videos on daycares for days. But no. Get yourself a nanny, okay? Yeah. Get yourself a nanny. If you've got to do something.
We did. We had one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not getting into that story today. So, but I will say that I left public education to raise my children, right? I went a different direction. I studied different things. Hey, Scott. We're going to pause on this for just a minute. BRB. All right. We're back. One of our friends from the campground came by and dropped off some candy for the babies. It's so sweet.
Yeah. Delicious candy.
Delicious candies. That gift culture that I was talking about the other video, y'all. In action. Live right here. Anyways. So to land a plane and fly it a little bit further. I have education experience. I have education experience with all ages, all demographics, public, and
non-public.
Well, kind of non-public, but it was non-public. She's right. It was an alternative school, so not private, right? Not fancy in that way, but detention oriented. All right, so I have experience in all of these arenas. I also have 6 kids of my own. And in spending time in education, I've gone on field trips after field trips after field trips after field trips. Like yesterday, exactly. So as a homeschooling family, as an unschooling family, as a road schooling family, we travel. And we decided yesterday, my husband Chris found a couple of places up the coast within about an hour, hour and a half drive.
2 hours.
Not 2 hours.
Not 2 hours.
No, it wasn't. It was 2 hours there and back.
Okay.
It was 2 hours there and back.
2 hours there and back, they say. So anyways, we go up to Fort Clinch. Clinch, I think? Clinch. I think that's correct. If I'm incorrect, I'm so sorry. But we went up there. That was our first stop, and it was awesome. So cool. Big place. Highly recommend. Lots to see. Fun.
It was open.
Very open. Very out. Lot of outdoor. A lot of open air. Go with nice weather.
Pokey plant things.
Pokey plant things, right? So wear your closed-toed shoes, folks. Now, that being said, when we got there, we realized very quickly on that it was a field trip day for a local school. There were several buses there, and the anxiety in my mother's heart was like, take me home now. I did my days in education. I did my days of field tripping with, 9 million people. I don't find fun in that these days. Smarties make you smarter. They may not, or they may. They may not. But anyways, so We persevered. Okay. But the fort is very busy. It is so busy, in fact, that when we go in the fort, the one of the park rangers, park representatives, park staff that is dressed to present historical information is perched upon
railing.
A railing. Thank you, Zoe. And he is not engaging with anybody. He's not talking to guests. He's not sitting upright. And I kind of notice this right away when we walk in. It's like the first thing you notice. And I didn't say anything, but I just kind of like, okay, mental note. And then as the day went on, and we spent a couple of hours there, right?
Yeah, we spent about 1 hour there.
Stella says 1, Zoe says 2.
About a half, 30 minutes.
I think Zellie's closer to accurate with 3.
We were there for a while.
We were there for a while. Truly, there was the fort that you can see. There are several buildings,
Smarties.
or not buildings, but like sections of the fort that you can
Delicious
see.
Smarties.
And trails that you can walk, and beach area that you can see as well.
We found so many big seashells.
Lots of big seashells on that beach too.
Oh, like
So-
giant ones?
Yes, like
Like they were like
really big ones.
this big.
They were that big. Okay, so back to the homeschooling v. public education field tripping. Okay. It's time for change, folks. It's time for change. That's all I got to say. It's not all I got to say. I got a lot more to say.
Seriously.
But seriously, time to change things. What I later learned as we were getting ready to leave. Okay, so we were there for a couple of hours in the fort. Lunchtime rolls around. We hear the school bell whistle roll. The group has left. So the mass exodus of, I would say, probably close to 200 kids leaves.
Getting ready to leave.
Right, you're getting ready to leave. They leave the fort and they're gathering out at their buses in the parking lot. Out of sight of the fort. Fully out of sight of the fort. If you've been there, you know the arrangement. If you've not, you can look it up. So my family is kind of happy to have a quiet fort for a moment, but we're also hungry and tired and want to see the rest of things.
We
And
have pizza.
you know, got to keep going. So we decide actually to somewhat start to leave in the same way. So we're meandering slowly towards the exit, but we're not hurrying. Still kind of taking some pictures here and there, seeing the historical artifacts, the rooms, the bunks, the
Offices,
towers,
the
the offices, the bakery. Thank you. So all the cool things. And we notice as we get towards the drawbridge exit that there is a child in a school t-shirt, clear as day, without anybody with her, walking towards us, towards the interior of the fort. And
She's like confused, but also she's off.
she's confused but off. That's the best way to describe it, Zoe. Great terminology there. So she was a third grader. It was a third grade group that was there yesterday. Fourth?
I think it was third.
I think it was third.
It was third.
Um,
Said third.
So many inaccuracies in this story. I'm so sorry, folks, but entertainment at its best. That we give you. So anyways, this girl starts walking towards us, and we kind of stop and like, hey honey, like, you don't need to be going this way. You need to be going that way. School folks are that way, not this way. Can we help you? And so I immediately say, hey, I'm Holly. I'm a mom of 6. Let me help you find your teacher, please. Do you know what her name is? Like, I'm going through the questions. Do you know your parents' name? Do you want to call your parents? I'm asking all of these questions. Like, I've worked retail before. I've worked in public education before. I've dealt with lost kids. Like, I know what to do. And she starts walking. Like, she's on a mission to get back in this fort.
Because she wants to see more.
She wants to see more.
But also she has to be back with her group.
But she's supposed to be back with her group. She knows
Her
better.
group's about to leave.
But she ain't doing better, folks. So she tells me and is continuing to walk towards the fort. And so I instinctually I leave Chris and the kids with them. And I'm like, you go find the teacher and I'm going to stay with the student.
I found the teacher. I called her. I told her. And then my dad told her and started talking. And then
right.
And then they came back.
And then they came back.
Wait.
So the girl walks into the fort. Okay. Walks all the way inside the fort, up a set of stairs, and is telling me and claiming to me that she's looking for her friends. She's looking for so-and-so, this person and that person by name.
Her sisters. She said sisters.
Sisters, friends, whomever.
She's your friend.
And there are no kids left in this school group here at the fort at this point. None. Zero. Like, it's clear as day. They are all gone. I watched them exit. And so, but I'm also telling this girl, like, hey, they're not here, baby. We need to go back to your group. Let's go find your teacher. So this point now I'm up on top of a fort with a student. 3rd grader, guys. 3rd grader.
She don't want to leave.
She doesn't want to leave.
She has to grab her to...
I have to physically grab her by the hand because she starts to walk out on the roof of a fort. That's not where you're supposed to walk, folks.
It's not stable.
It's not stable. So I grab this baby's hand, and I'm not
mean, like...
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be ugly, but I couldn't be gentle either. Like, I had to be firm and hold her hand with authority.
Because she was trying to get away.
She had her own agenda to keep seeing her day.
She wanted to go.
And bless her heart, I get it. I get it. Truly do.
She was nice, and she was a sweet girl, but also...
No, ma'am. So, I guide her back down the stairs, and Chris calls me. He's found her teacher. And the girl still doesn't want to come. And I put Chris on video. I'm like, Chris, can I see Mrs. Wilson? Can I show her Miss Wilson on the phone, and maybe she'll come willingly at this point? And she, like, barely does this. Still wants to look around at everything. I'm, like, truly having to pull her through the fort. This girl's teacher, I'm trying hard not to use the name. Forgive me if I drop it, but...
Can I just say it?
No, please don't.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't. So, this girl's teacher was not looking for her.
She just asked where she was, and that was all.
And that was all.
Nothing else.
And that was nothing else. She had done a head count, Chris said, and had done a count and done a second count and had come up short. She was aware that she had come up short still. And I walked her from the interior of the fort upstairs, down the stairs again, out through the middle of the fort, through the drawbridge, over the moat.
Yeah.
Like, this is medieval times, okay? This girl could have gotten snatched by God knows who, or gotten hurt terribly.
Considering she's walking on roofs.
Not making good decisions for herself. So, I hand this child over to the teacher, literally, from hand to hand. And the teacher is unfazed. Not the teacher I would pick for my kid, okay? I'll put it like that. Now, that being said, as a teacher, putting that teacher hat on, going and putting myself in that situation on field trip day, I have had the difficult ones. Remember?
The difficult ones.
I had the difficult ones. I spent time teaching in detention centers. I get that. you still have to do better, guys. They're still kids. They're still innocent.
They don't know what's happening.
They still don't fully comprehend the error of their ways, and they require observation. Like the fact that most of my girls are here, and the fact that my feral creature is inside right now is scary, but we'll get to it. And there's, you know, most of the things can be fixed there. Hey, girl, what you doing? I'm gonna flip my hand, sorry. So anyways, I got her to her teacher, and then, no, y'all, let me tell this story, please. Lord have mercy. If you've ever had children, you ever know what it's like to try and work? This is it.
I deal with them every night.
This is it. You deal with them every night.
Literally
When
every
guys go
night.
out, you go in your bunk and I watch them.
Anyhow, so, plane, land, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no harm, no foul. The child is safely returned, handed to her teacher. They're going on about their business. What I also learned, I forgot to tell you all a minute ago, was that the park ranger who was in costume ready to share historical information had already called the school and told the school that the
It's loud, they're playing
supervision was lacking. The respect for the historical site was not there.
The kids were going in places where they should have not gone.
They were not abiding by all of the things.
There was like one person that was not like there was one girl that was watching the kids that was making sure that they wouldn't do anything that weren't supposed to.
Yeah. It was clear that there were a few kids that were watched over closely, but it was a handful, and it was the chaperones' kids, period. So I can say that, and I don't say it lightly, right? I say it because it needs to be said, because it needs to be heard from an outside parent seeing other people's kids. It struck a nerve really hard for me yesterday, and I struggled through it big time, and it actually caused Chris and I to kind of butt heads for a little bit. And Zellie fixed that for us. Zellie was a really awesome problem solver in that moment, and she was able to come up with a solution, because I felt like this needs addressing. This needs further awareness brought. There were too many kids at the fort. There were not enough chaperones with the kids. The chaperones that were with the kids were not chaperoning them. They weren't caring for them. They did not have their best interest at heart. Bottom line. And I said to Chris, I was like, if it were you, if it was your kid, would you want to know? Would you want to know? Would you want to know if your kid went missing? And somebody else found them, and somebody else brought them to the teacher, and the teacher acted like she didn't care. And he said, yeah, I'd want to know. And I said, yeah, I'd want to know too. And so then we're puzzled with how do we share this information? How do we tell this story? How do we initiate positive change? For us, on the low scale, we homeschool our kids. We saw the system, we saw what it produced, and we said, no thanks. Literally. Like, I worked it from the inside out. My husband and I are both product of public education, and good public education, I'll say it at that. We're educated people, we're smart, we're business people, and, you know, life is not easy. And I would say that...
And my name is Stella.
Yes, it is.
It looks like we never knew.
It's not easy, but it can be done, and I believe that it should be done. So I am highly encouraging people to homeschool their children, and it's just funny to me. so I'm sharing this message, and the conflict that we had that Zellie solved for us was, how do we share this message? Who do we share it with? You know, what's the best way to handle it to see positive change happen? And I was hot and heavy on it, and I was like, I want to go to the school board meeting. It's going on tonight. I pulled up the website. That's my personality, guys. Like, that's my go-to, you know.
Anybody have a hairball?
No, ma'am, please stop. Thank you. So then, you know, I know that that's not going to be a great light to stand in. So that's not the route I got to go.
Look at the face that I made today.
Thank you, Stella. That's really pretty. It matches your, yeah, your
I already gave it to Marina.
jumpsuit. That's cute.
When did you give it to Marina?
She made it for her today, I think.
Oh, I thought you said you gave it to her. I was like,
I did.
You give it to her. When?
Okay,
When
girls,
we were over
can
there.
we hold on that conversation so I can tell the story?
Can I go right
Yes.
Thank you.
around? My right around.
With a helmet on your head.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'm going with.
With a helmet on your head as well. All right, so I want to go to the school board meeting. It's not the best way to go about it. I want to call the principal. It's checkout time. I'm probably not going to get a hold of her. If I do get a hold of her, it's bad time, right? I've been there. But it's also like the greatest time, because there's a possibility of the parent being there too, and the teacher. And I might be able to talk to all of them at once. So like, I'm going through all of these things in my head. And Chris is like, can you just drop it? Like, and I'm like, no, I really can't. Like, it's not in my nature. I'm shaking, guys. I'm cold. I'm sorry. So we kind of reach an impasse, honestly, and can't really get to a solution. He's basically telling me to send an email, and I'm going, I'll send an email, but I'm going to send an email saying I want an in-person meeting. I want to make sure that change actually happens. I want to make sure that it's felt, that it's received with true heart, and that honestly that it doesn't happen to somebody else's kid.
Mom,
So, yes ma'am.
can I go play at Marina's?
Yes, please. If you're riding your bike, wear a helmet.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not far away now.
I know, they're close by.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like 3-year-old spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their new old spot.
Yes. So, Zellie, will you tell me real quick while I've got you here before you can play, what was your solution?
Phone call. But before that, I could yell and pull the kid out of school.
Right?
Somehow connect to the parents. They said they couldn't find the parents.
So, a phone call. And the moment that my dear Zellie said, call, I was like, oh, yeah, duh, perfect solution. So I telephoned right then when we thought about it. It was close to checkout, so I knew I probably wasn't going to get somebody on the phone then. And then my instincts really started to kick in when I dialed the phone and started listening to the voicemail. And I actually left the voicemail with the guidance counselor. And I left my name and my number. I didn't tell the story yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if that school calls me and finds out what happened. And we'll see if it goes any further. I don't know. I posted on Facebook about it briefly yesterday. Didn't really tell the story then either, but I did tag the school. Nobody's reached out as far as I know at this point. I will see. Let me know. What do you think? If this was your kid, if your kid went wandering off on a field trip and another parent, another stranger found them and returned them to your teacher, your child's teacher, excuse me, would you want to know? How would you want it handled? What are the solutions here? And honestly, we used a lot of the time yesterday to discuss solutions with our kids. And some of it included the park limiting the number of field trippers that would come at one time. I would recommend smaller teacher to student ratios, or parents on field trips actually is more preferred, but there's politics there too. So chime in the comments, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you and look forward to it. Thank you.